Hiya, I'm a Zamen, and I loved the Supergirl show on the CW. I doubt many people watched it, but I did. I tuned in every week to catch the latest episode ever since Season 3, even though Season 3 is probably the worst season of Supergirl. It was followed up by Season 4, literally the best season of the show, which then earned it my eternal fandom. Hence why I'm here in this dirty, dark alley out behind Arby's to talk about the titular girl that is Super, Kara Danvers, played by Melissa Benoist, who did a wonderful job. Now, disclaimer, I have not read any Supergirl comics. While comics are something I want to get into, I kinda value my free time and already waste too much of it, so this little talky thing shall just be on the show, and I guess the Arrow/CW verse as a whole. Now then, let us discuss the suit. And there's three main Supergirl costumes in the show. Suit number 1, the classic, includes a skirt. And honestly, this is a perfect costume. The blue is a little muted, but it's bright enough to be recognized as blue, unlike... And the red is on point, because it manages to blend well with the blue and doesn't come across as garish or over the top. And the cape. I adore capes. They look so cool when the wind is blowing, and they really help sell the heroic aspects of these characters. Which is why every Fire Emblem protag is rocking a cape. Now, suit number 2. The Protector. How to beat Kryptonite. It looks so cool. She gets pants. And I really like how this suit is just not bulky. It's kind of built for a practical purpose. It also doesn't overstay its welcome and is a nice reminder whenever it pops up again after its big moments in Season 4. Suit 3. The Complete. We got to keep the pants. This suit here is immaculate in terms of its design. I like the material it's made out of, and the golden trim it has really does make it feel like Kara has grown into a greater hero. Furthermore, Kara's symbol for the House of El also got an improvement, looking much more glossier. And her hair, which I'm split on, because it either makes her look really dorky or super hot, and I can't find the middle ground. Still, that's a pretty good place to be, either one or the other. However, one gripe with the suit is that the blue is a little too muted, although that may be studio lighting because in certain shots the blue looks perfect, and in others it's frankly a bit muddy. Although I do love the little poster images the CW released for the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Last thing, Kara's final ultimate costume, the glasses. Personally, I love it. That out of the way, let's talk about Kara Danvers, the person and the superhero. While under her civilian identity, Kara is a bit of a dork who likes campy things, board games, and is genuinely a curious and inquisitive person. This curiosity comes from the fact that Kara is a literal alien from another world. Unlike her cousin, Kal-El, the Clark Kent, the man that is super, who arrived on Earth as a baby. Kara Danvers, then called Kara Zor-El, escaped the explosion of Krypton at the age of 13, so she was more than old enough to make memories of her alien planet and form real attachment to the people she knew. It also means that when she landed on Earth, she had a whole new everything to get used to. It helps that even before that, Kara consumed as much information as she could about alien races and cultures for future So from her teenage years on Earth, she just devoured as much media as she could. As much media that could be portrayed on the CW TV, so, you know. Among this, Kara also has several negative traits, such as being short-sighted, brash, and arrogant. Arrogance is kind of ever-present though, because at several instances throughout the show, Kara does kinda look down on people and sorta brushes them off, which, you know, kinda makes sense considering that she might as well be a god on Earth. Still rude though. She's also too trusting or like really dense. Oh, then again, she's the girl of steel, so... Speaking of that, let's talk about Kara in hero mode. Now, initially she lacks confidence all the way through Season 1, but she blazes right past that weakness by the end of Season 3. However, throughout the entire show, Kara is always shown to have the same flaw, which is being overly emotional. And I'm not being sexist, I swear, I'm not, but it's just that inconsistent writing, okay? Kara is always shown as either having too much compassion for a certain scene or too little compassion, or acting too rashly, or being a little too forgiving. The writing's all over the place, so it's very inconsistent in the best of times. But what I meant earlier about overly forgiving, that one's more consistent. A key example of this overly forgiving nature is seen in the first season of Supergirl, where Kara tries so hard to redeem her aunt Astra. But yeah, Astra really isn't the redeemable type, and still Kara tries, she tries, and keeps on trying in the same moment where her aunt is about to murder the Martian Manhunter. Thankfully though, Kara's sister Alex found an alternative route to stop Astra. Bang. That incident though was a major learning point for her character because it meant that Kara would from then on know when a person was gone too far. Most of the time. Some of the time. A few specific times. Look, it's like I said earlier, it's a CW show. The writing across the 100-ish episodes is a bit splish-splashy, alright? Not the most consistent. Moving on, Kara's also got a bit of an angry streak, and absolutely turns on people once they reveal their true colors. Sometimes. And since she is a super character, she also has a chronic desire to self-sacrifice herself at every opportunity, multiple times. Some were good, some were bad, others were okay. I'm starting to repeat myself, so let's change the subject and talk about character relationships. Well, relationship, singular. I want this video to be on the shorter side, so I just want to discuss Kara's relationship with Lena Luthor. Speaking of Lena, let's not discuss how we fans were queerbaited for like 2 full seasons, but Supercorp had a lovely friendship that was pretty solid for the most part. Especially on a meta level. What do I mean by that? Oh, simple. You've seen Lena's last name. It's Luthor. And Luthor as in Lex Luthor. Yeah, that's right. Lena is Lex Luthor's sister. So for most of the show, the audience, and most of the characters who are not named Supergirl in the show Supergirl, are just waiting, salivating at the mouth for the day where Lena becomes a villain. Which, it does happen. She becomes a villain in Season 5, but very briefly, and it kind of feels like such an afterthought, and her so-called evil plan isn't that evil per se, but it's still very wrong. She did kind of want to mind control every person on the planet to erase all evil/negative impulses. But we are not talking about Lena's actions. Instead, we are focusing on Lena's relationship with Kara, which is quite solid and makes you think that there's something more between them, something that could blossom into a The relationship between the pair is really wholesome, and in a lot of cases Lena acts as one of Kara's best confidants, who typically gives her great advice, since Lena's the type of person who's been around the block before, and since she isn't a complete bleeding heart like most of Kara's company, the perspective she provides is often more valuable. Like, for example, on multiple instances, she tells Kara that it's alright to be selfish. She is human after all. And yes, human. One of Kara's and Superman's defining key traits is their humanity, the ability to have empathy, which puts a lot of people to shame. She has the ability to be freaking human, and not some emotionless punching doll. Ahem, forgive me, that was quite uncouth. I just like characters with personality, even if it's not always the best writing. There it is again. I've said that so many times, which is why I should be more direct in answering this last question. What makes this portrayal of Supergirl good, despite the many flaws of this show? Honestly, a big part of it is just Melissa Benoist herself, her acting as this lovable goofball who strives to do the right thing. I know a lot of people find that boring, but what's what's wrong with a tried and true hero? Do heroes need to be edgy, dark, and supposedly morally complex? Well, that last one's kind of a non-factor since you can be morally complex without being dark and edgy, but I'll save that for Mr. Tanjiro Kamado when I get to that boy's lovely hands. A genuine hero who wants to do the right thing, even with their own shortcomings. A clean-cut hero. That's the type of thing I like. I find it compelling. I want to see these characters succeed. I like that these heroic characters don't take themselves too seriously. It shows that these people are humble. And when I say humble, I mean they know their limits. They know what they are and they don't spend time going around in pointless circles. But back to Benoist, she just has this aspect in her portrayal that makes her come across as this warm and caring person, which is perfect for a Superman-like character. And let me be clear, that does not detract from Kara Zor-El as a character. Her being attached to Superman is part of her background, but it does not define Kara in her entirety. So yes, Supergirl can carry her own show without being overshadowed. The show itself was even able to end on its own terms in a way that left me, a longtime viewer, mostly satisfied. The choice to have Kara reveal her identity to the world just seems like a perfect ending to a Superman and Supergirl story. Since it's a variation of the whole wearing your heart on your sleeve thing, it made sense in practice and leaves Kara's character wrapped up in a nice bow. So let's just hope a movie can one day do the same. Oh, and I should also answer this. Would I recommend watching the show? No? Honestly, I'd say give season 4 a try. I think Nia and Brainy are wonderful characters who were introduced that season, and it's where the show's writing is at its strongest. It's not peak, but look, you could have worse background noise, alright? I've been a Zamen, and thank you very much for watching this video. So consider sticking around if you don't hate my voice. My sole goal here is to improve my writing, editing, and speaking. Lastly, I know this upload is a bit late. I've been kinda moving and adjusting to a college dorm, which is quite new to me, but I think I should be able to get back to being somewhat consistent, maybe? Look, next time we'll be getting Persona Part 2, or Digimon, or something. Bye!